did 2 whole cars. It was me, Dez, and me 3, right? And on the first car, in small letters, it said, "All you see is," and then, you know, big, you know, block silver letters, it said, "Crime in the city," right?
At the Grand Concourse 149th Street station in the Bronx, graffiti writers gather at what they call the writer's bench.
Yo, what's good? What's good? Live from the Writer's Bench, another ep. I'm your man Kill with Beezo and Vic. What's going on, y'all?
Peace.
What up? Peace.
Vic. Shout out to the soldier Vic one more time, you know what I mean? Always here with us even when he ain't here. But yo, this show is about me having to renege on some things. You know, if cats play spades enough, you know what reneging is. You gotta take it back. You know, sometimes back in the source you used to have to do it. You know, your album come out, you give it 4 mics, you look back at it later, it's really a 5-mic album.
Where did that word come from? Renege. I don't know if I like that word.
I don't know.
Renege.
I don't know. We gotta look up the definition of that. You know, Beezo, he on his Martin Lawrence Asparagus Spears joint right now. Like, Asparagus Spears is racial. Like, why you gotta be reneged?
Racial.
Right. But 2 things that I've said, we're like up to episode 12. There's a couple of things I've said that I feel like I gotta take back. The first thing that I feel like I gotta take back, one thing is something I gotta take back. Another thing is something that I'm not really taking back, but I gotta give a man props for what he does. The first thing is, in our rap battle show of the boroughs, it came down to Jay-Z versus Pharoahe Monch. And I went on the Pharoahe Monch side of the fence. I feel like I gotta renege and pull that vote back and go with Jay.
Wow.
And let me explain why. Everybody out there, Breaking Bad just ended a minute ago. Everybody's been on Twitter. I've been back and forth with a lot of people. What's the greatest show ever, Breaking Bad or The Wire? And I say The Wire is my number 1, with Breaking Bad being number 2, but it's number 2 so far away from The Wire. Nothing's touching The Wire. The Wire has so many quotables and things that I've heard in this show over 5 seasons that I use all the time. And that's one of the reasons why I'm like, it's so far ahead of Breaking Bad. Jay, just in the past week, I've used so many Jay-Z lines as a saying when I'm talking with people or talking to my teams or doing things like that. And it was just like, yo, Jay's a better MC than Pharoahe Monch. So I gotta take that vote back. What that does for the show, I don't know. Does that mean?
Well, let me put my thing in there, because you know my rebuttal was.
What's that?
Did the show, was it about who had the best quotable, or if you put these 2 cats in the same room, spit for spit, who was going to outspit the other one?
That's a good point. That's a good point, because
I still think Jay.
Hold tight.
I'm talking about they both at their prime.
I think
now at their prime.
The whole premise is, and for the viewers, when I'm grading things, it's always a whole rack of things that come together for me to grade things, and these dudes are getting me into the aspect of just straight looking at it like these 2 spitting at each other in a cipher. If Jay-Z and Pharoahe Monch are just looking at each other and they're coming up with the rap battle, I mean, I guess you're right, Ev. I guess I still would have Pharoahe. What's up, Beezo?
See, that's why I disagree. Because, and here's why. Pharoahe, and again, let me just preface what I'm about to say with the fact that I love Pharoahe Monch. I've bought his solo albums. I bought all of them. I listened to them. I listened to them shits. I still listen to them joints. Love them to death. I listen to War more than I listen to Picasso Baby and that whole album, Magna Carta. But having said that, Pharoahe, his lyrical content and his delivery, his flow, his wordplay, all that shit to me, that what makes an MC dope, is something that it's like a fine wine. You know what I mean? It's like he ain't in the studio coming up with them shits in 30 seconds. It's off the top of the dome. It's just crazy shit. That nigga sitting down with a pen, and I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but he's sitting down with a pen and pad. He's thinking about some shit. Oh, I'm gonna say blah blah blah. He probably got an agenda with the line, with the verse or whatever. And he's writing shit line for line to lead to that point in his agenda. Whereas Jay, if everything that he's always said and made kind of his name as he was coming up in his prime was about him not writing nothing down, was about him coming off the top of the head. So if we talking about them cats standing in the cipher, just going line for line on top of the dome, I'm sorry, but I still think Jay is going.
Wait, let me get this in. We never said off the top of the dome.
Okay, well,
we put them in their room, but we're not talking about. But we're not talking about two cats. We're not talking about who can freestyle better. You put them in there, spit for spit.
I still will give it to Jay, bro.
And I was gonna say, Ev, on that note, to me, Jay-Z isn't coming off the top of the dome. He's writing it down. He's just memorizing it in his head. So it's not like Jay is. It's not like Jay just said, "Okay, here's Dead Presidents" off the top of the dome.
But that's my thing, though. But it's like, two cats saying the same thing. One nigga is like taking a half hour to say the same thing, and the next cat said in 15 minutes. And I'm not saying one way is better than the other, but that's kind of how I see the two of them. Pharoahe's going to take the long route. You know what I'm saying? He's going to take the scenic route.
But we don't know if Jay's taking the long route just because Jay is writing it down in his head. So there's a dude out there.
I'm just basing it off of Jay's lyrics, off of the shit.
Right. But what I'm saying is, like, you have those people who have those memories. Like, they could read a book, they read a textbook once.
No. I'm not even saying about him writing them down and not writing them down. I'm just talking about, like, line for line, if they was in the middle of shit, whether they wrote it down, whether it was top of their head.
Lyrics, Jay-Z's lyrics are better than Pharoahe's lyrics. That's what you're saying. I'm just want to be clear.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. That is how.
And Kill, you're saying the same thing.
Nah, I'm not. I guess I'm redigging again. I'm coming back on another renege.
Hold on.
Y'all have to remember the way that I'm looking at stuff is I'm always looking at the bigger picture. Who's the all-around better MC? So that's where I'm coming from. But again, Ev, you're bringing me back to the perspective of what the MC battle was about. It wasn't about
longevity.
All-around better MC.
No. I'm not taking none of that in consideration. What I was saying before, we were talking about it. I think it's like I said, that when you look at their agendas as MCs, they're two very different agendas. You know what I'm saying? Right. So that's why you almost would have to. If we're just going off of lyrics, if we're going to imagine some shit, we got to imagine it off of what we've seen from both of them. So if we're going to do that, we got to take what each one of them has put out on wax and has done. And a perfect example would be when Jay was up at Marley Marl in Control with Pete Rock, when Jay was up there just rhyming, just spitting. Same thing like Big did at one time. And even when there's a joint off of some album, I forget which one, where Pharoahe was doing the same thing up at Sway and Tech Show back in the day. Now, if you just I'm just going to take those two situations.
You can't.
Let's say that was their battle.
That's not the premise of the argument. The premise of the argument.
But my thing is, but Ev, it's like in the context of what we're discussing and how you would determine it, what else do we have to go on? Other than what they've already done.
I'll tell you, what we have to go on is off of their albums. If you listen to their albums, listen to Jay-Z's verses in any of his albums, Prime, Subprime, whatever. You listen to Pharoahe's verses in any of his albums, Prime, Subprime, whatever. You take these verses. I'm not talking about when they was here, when they was there, no, I'm talking about from what they've given us in wax. You take these verses, and we're going to take some of their top verses and put them against each other, pound for pound, spit for spit.
And Jay wins.
Who's gonna give you better lyrics?
Jay-Z. Again, because we can't.
But okay. So I apologize.
The content, like one nigga talking about drugs.
This is my fault.
Pharoahe's talking about some scientific shit. That doesn't mean Pharoahe's a better MC because he's talking some scientific shit.
Pharoahe's not always scientific. It's not about scientific or big words. It's about spit for spit, how he's spitting, delivery. He's talking about the whole time.
All right, that's my fault. That's my fault. I'm reneging again. So let's just go on to my next category.
Wait.
How you gonna start some trouble?
You gonna repeat 3 times?
Firecrack in the middle.
Because I'm saying because we've done this. We did this on the show. We
Well, nigga, you brought this shit up, nigga.
Right, and I said it's my fault because I forgot we wasn't going the whole route of looking at the whole MC.
So I don't even know which side you on. Who?
I'm back on Pharoahe. Pharoahe won the battle. Queens won. On to my next point. The next point is Beezo thinks that I have a problem with Prodigy for my.
Oh, I ain't the only one. That does too.
I do too.
Let me say, the problem that I have with Prodigy is because I feel like dude is a fake thug. If y'all haven't read his book, the viewers don't comment until you read the book or until you get the cliff notes. Then you can comment. Now, What I do want to sit back and say is that I have allowed me looking at him as a fake thug to sometimes knock him
Sometimes?
how nice he is. Now,
Sometimes?
I'll say this. No, because you think about it, we can go back and look at the shows. I never said Prodigy is whack. Never. And like I always say, Prodigy is in my top 20 of all time. But I was listening to some mob stuff this weekend, and dude is an incredible lyricist. You know, he's an incredible lyricist. He may be an incredible liar, but I don't want to hold that against the lyrics. He's still an incredible lyricist. It doesn't matter if he's done what he did or he didn't. I just wanted to put that out there because I just feel like if the viewers watch him after so many episodes, you know, it's like Kill don't like Prodigy, but it's strictly off of because, you know, we've got proof that dude is lying. But Prodigy is still an incredible MC. I was listening to Still Shining, so many joints I was listening to, you know, Hell on Earth, Godfather Part 3. I was just really giving Murder Music a listen and a lot of the stuff off of that Quiet Storm. He destroyed that. So just, you know, that's
can I say this? Can I say this?
Yeah.
It's gonna kind of play a part in both of the discussions we just had. And I said this before during the MC Battle Show that for me, I look at a dope MC. I don't take none of that album sales because there wasn't as big a market back when Kane and Rakim was on top of the game lyrically as there is even during when Nas and Prodigy and Jay and Big was coming up. Never mind nowadays. It's night and day comparing the markets. I don't even take beats into consideration. All I take is three things: your flow, your lyrical content, and the depth of your shit. And you can be on some deeper shit and still be talking some dumb, ignorant shit with the way you put the words together. Prodigy, at his best, was incredible at taking some ignorant shit and making it sound so vivid and ill. Same thing with Big. Niggas, they could make that shit sound so ill. But my point going back to about Jay and Pharoahe, yo, Jay, what we talked about before earlier about cats dumbing down their lyrics. Jay has a way of not dumbing down his lyrics, but simplifying the shit where instead of me having to,
Jay don't dumb down his lyrics?
No, I'm saying he doesn't have to dumb it down. He can simplify the shit, and it's still wait. It's still incredible. It's like the song where he said
simplify and dumb down is the same thing.
No.
Yeah, you got work.
Simplify is trimming the fat. Simplify is trimming the fat.
Hold tight. So what does simplify your lyrics mean?
It gets straight to the point. It's like instead of going this way with it, I can just come straight ahead with the shit. Dumbing it down means you're not intelligent enough to understand the depth of this, so I have to say, it's your birthday, go so I gotta do some real dumb nigga shit, and I gotta make words come together, and I can only have but so many words that rhyme and connect. I can't get too deep with that shit.
So give me an example. Hold tight for a second. So give me an example of a Jay-Z simplified lyric.
Please.
There's a line where he talking about, I forget what song and album it's off of, but he's talking about, it's the whole shit leading up to that line in the song where he says, he ain't do nothing, they killed that boy. He talking about, got your whole crew on hard bottoms. That whole, I don't know the song, I can't remember all the quotes because, you know, it's just right here in the moment, but if you go back and listen to that verse, and that's a simple verse, I think that's a joint Snoop was on that joint off of the La Familia album.
Oh, I never even heard that.
Kills that shit. Then he got another joint where he talking about, he comparing himself to the U.S. Open. He say Advantage Jigger. That's what I mean about that's simplifying the shit without getting too in depth with the shit. Where Nas's problem to me at times is he tries too hard to be deep and scientific with it, and sometimes it sounds nice in terms of the words connecting. You know, it sounds nice, but when you really listen to what he's saying, it's like it was kind of some gibberish. Some of that shit was, you gotta trim the fat, my dude. Get rid of some of that excess words and wordplay, because sometimes it's like a nigga out of jail using big words to sound intelligent. You know, there is a big difference between simplifying it and dumbing it down.
The other thing is I feel like sometimes it's almost like we gotta pick, you know, like who's Jay? Like Jay has changed so many times throughout the year. I don't even know what Jay, like I never even heard the Rock La Familia album, don't want to hear it.
What?
So,
No, yes you have. Wait, you ain't never heard 1-900 Hustler?
I mean, I heard like that song, but like as a whole, I never heard the whole album. So what I'm just saying is, it's almost like we have to pick. What, you know, are we talking about Reasonable Doubt, Jay? Are we talking about Hard Knock Life era, Jay? Are we talking about Blueprint, Jay?
But to me, even with all of that, it's still, to me, it doesn't change the fact that, okay, if you say Jay-Z is quote unquote simplifying his verses and getting straight to the point, that doesn't make the verse hot to me. Just because you're getting straight to the point, it's about what the way you spit, how you spit, and how it's coming at me. If I'm intrigued and if I'm somewhat tickled by what you're saying, like, damn, that was a fly way to say what you just said. That shit was
that nigga just.
That's what I'm saying.
And to me, when you
I prefer Jay's way of doing it.
When you talk about Pharoahe, but that doesn't mean to say that means to say like Pharoahe is doing something like super complex, and that's not the case. I mean, like I could always spit the same verse. How does this shit go? Fucking take a bullet for X in the ballroom and then vanish. Extinguish the sun when I drew. Play pool with the planets. That's it.
Okay, time.
I'm not crazy about that.
What does that mean? Play pool with the planets. What does that actually mean? That was ill.
No. All right, let me finish. I'll tell you what.
That's what I'm talking about.
The whole time, F. Let me say
what's this playing pool with the planets mean?
Because if you listen to it, let me finish. If you listen to the verse before, he says, "Extinguish the sun when I drool, play pool with the planets." That means I'm that big. I'm that huge.
Okay, right.
I'm that nigga. I'm that big.
Now, what I take it to mean is that he's saying I'm that big. I'm larger than life. I'm like the universe. I'm so big with it. My shit's so ill that I'm playing pool with the planets. But that's what I'm saying. It's like that. I mean, I don't.
You're saying Jay-Z would just say, "I'm playing pool with the planets."
I'm big. Jay-Z would just say, "I'm big."
Jay would say, "Come on now."
Well, what are you talking about?
No. I'm just saying because that's why I think the problem that I'm stuck on is the simplified dumbing down. I'm just not really seeing the
difference though, man.
Between the two. And it's weird because I've never heard anybody ever say somebody simplifies their lyrics without it meaning they're dumbing it down. Well, so that's all I'm saying. I understand what 50 Cent totally different.
If you listen to 50 Cent before Get Rich or Die, when he's doing nothing but mixtapes, before he got shot, 50 used to spit. He used to have way more complex lyrics and put it together. And then when he started coming out, and when he wanted to put the album out, he even said it on the song that his man told him to dumb it down.
But you just said it yourself.
Somebody else could say he simplified.
You just said that he simplified.
I said he dumbed it down.
No. But one of his fans can say he simplified, and they can use your exact same argument.
Yeah, but they're not intelligent enough to say that though.
What? Because it's not Jay-Z?
Nah.
Come on, man.
Listen to what you just said. Hold tight. Listen to what you just said. You said before the mixtape, during the mixtapes, and before he got shot, 50 used to spit. Then when the album dropped, he simplified.
No, I said he dumbed it down.
Okay, he dumbed it down.
That's what I'm saying is the difference. What Jay did was simplify shit.
How
he didn't change because he's that work though. Because he won.
Has there ever been another MC who has simplified their lyrics outside of Jay-Z?
Not too many, and that's my point about.
Do you think there's a bias anywhere in your argument?
No, but that's what I'm saying. I mean, that's my point. That's why I give Jay that credit.
You just pulled something out that says you just gave me the difference between simplify and dumb down, but you only have one person to give example for that. Do you think there's a bias anywhere?
No, but see, no, it's not a bias. It's that's why I give him that credit because everyone else has to dumb it down. And listen, let me just explain.
Because they're not Jay-Z.
I see the difference between simplifying and dumbing it down.
Okay.
It's like I could tell y'all some shit. I could give y'all directions to my crib and tell you, look, you get to the corner. When you get to that corner, you hit the stop sign. Just keep going straight. If you were walking, you will walk through the stop sign and just keep straight and you hit my door. I'm talking to a dumbass delivery nigga who drives around delivering shit, and I had to tell him, you get to the stop sign, stop, look, see a sign in front of you, pull your car in front of that sign, then get out. I have to dumb it down for that nigga.
What if the delivery driver is smart? Then would you be simplifying it?
No, I wouldn't need to.
But no, what if he didn't get the first one that you got? What if he needed?
But that's my point, though. It's not a bias for Jay. It's the fact that I give him that credit because I look at. That's what I'm saying. 50 had to dumb his shit down for the fans to absorb what he was saying.
But at the same token,
way.
But here's the thing: somebody could say that Jay dumbed his, because when we're talking about 50's album, we're talking about the one that sold what, like 5 million, right?
The first joint. Well, the first
joint. To Get Rich or Die Trying sold 5 million. Yeah. Jay could say he dumbed his stuff down for the 5 million Hard Knock Life album, because that goddamn sure ain't the same Jay I heard on Reasonable Doubt.
Well, we talking about when they in their prime, right?
Right, but what I'm just saying is
that's my point. When you listen to Reasonable Doubt, and you listen to the Black Album, okay? And again, let's be fair to all of these artists, all of these MCs. They're no different than any human being who has a good day and a bad day. You know, you get up and go to work one day, and you might not be in a good mood. And you got a fucked up attitude, but you still do your job. You know what I'm saying?
But that's a huge difference between me going to the studio for 9 months. I got 9 months to make this album.
Jay is going in there for 9 months?
No, but what I'm saying is when he did Reasonable Doubt, I don't know. The Black Album is a great album. I don't know how long he was in the studio for. But what it is that Jay plays to the level of his competition. That's what Jay-Z's fault is. When he first came out, he knew Big was hot, he knew Nas was hot, he knew Pac was hot. He knew he had to come with it. And that's why after that, the Lives and Times of Sean Carter, I wrote Jay off. I didn't want to hear Jay no more. It wasn't until the Blueprint.
He was simplifying too much.
You know what's funny to me? It's like, yo, what word is born? If you talk to the 2 cats who I deal with the most, they'll tell you that nigga B don't fuck with Jay. I'm not a Jay-Z fan like that. That's my point. It's like, but I see it for what it like. Yo, this nigga puts words to.
No, and I agree with you. I agree with you. I'm not. Right, and I'm not.
I fuck with Pharoahe more than I fuck with Jay, but I gotta give credit where it's due. That nigga
and I get that. I think what it's
that's all I was saying. That's my example.
Is that Beezo made a great point
because it's exemplifies.
He said,
he's just better than that nigga. That's all it is.
He said it's the preference. He said it's the preference. And the reason why I say that is because I know a lot of other dudes like Big and Jay. A lot of times people say they're the same MCs. And I'm like, nah, they're really not. Because to me, Big was more in your face. Big was kicking the door, I'm coming for you. And I prefer that style to Jay-Z's. So he was like a politician, like friend or foe. If you just had Big and Jay in the studio and you said, write a song about finding out about some dudes being in your town selling weight, Biggs was going to be much more violent and more in your face and more like a pit bull attacking you. Jay-Z is going to be more political like he was in Friend or Foe. It's like, you know, the wittiness of it. Jay-Z was more witty. And I think at a lot of times it just came down to which style did you prefer? I preferred the more.
Let me ask you this, though. But now, what you just said, comparing Big to Jay and your feelings on Prodigy. I'm going to take it back to your feelings on Prodigy.
All right.
Now, I don't know how common knowledge it is, but Big was really always rhyming about the life of the nigga Hunt. Big wasn't that nigga putting, you know, for whatever it was, at Mac 10s in the Benz and all that shit. That was his man he was rhyming about. Jay's rhyming about himself. He's not lying. And I noticed, I mean, granted, I wasn't there.
I know what you're saying.
But Jay is telling the truth. So he doesn't need to come up with all this. He can sit back. That's what I'm saying. It's like his whole style is just, I'm going to sit back and I'm going to spit this shit. Y'all niggas just going to have to feel it. And that's why I got to give nigga credit, man. But you don't got to make a dictionary on some.
But we can't take props away from Big just because that's not his life, because that would disagree with your Prodigy argument. That you
that's why I said that to you, because I mean I don't.
I mean, but again, but see, the thing is again, I don't. For instance, and again, the only reason why this is coming from me from Prodigy is because this fool wrote a book about it. You know, it's almost like this fool wrote a book about me robbing a bank. Like this fool wrote a book about it. Now I could gladly run into anybody from Bed-Stuy and say, I don't think Biggie was Jay-Z drug dealer status. But at the same token, I'm not going to sit here and believe that Jay-Z, they sent the National Guard to go get that nigga either. I don't think the National Guard, like he said in not Friend of Foe, Streets is watching so high one city it's the National Guards to get me. I don't believe that.
You know, some of that is you know.
Well, okay, well that's embellishing. And here's another word that we can use. There's lying, and then there's embellishing. To me, it's the same shit. You know, you can embellish. So okay, they didn't send National Guards to get them; they just sent the cops. That's a lie, then. Because
so what is
National Guards are going to get you.
What is playing pool?
Extinguish the sun when I drool. You can't come take it out of context.
No. But I'm asking Q, like based on what he just said, is it
based on what I just said? But it's different things. See, you're talking about you stopped with Pharoahe and talked about being real. So it was kill if you like.
It was a different argument completely.
Yeah, it was a different argument. You said it killed if you like Big and he wasn't honest. Then what's the beef with Prodigy? So then you were saying Jay, you said Jay is real. Jay did this stuff. Big didn't. So that's why I was just saying, well, Jay is so real. Trust me, if they send National Guards to get you, they gonna get you.
I mean, but you know what I'm saying? Let me just add this real quick. Because, I mean, you're taking about one line, but he said, I mean, that's
no.
I equate that to what Pharoahe said.
I'm just giving rebuttal to what line you was giving earlier on Jay-Z. But what I want to add is, Q, I think Q made a good point. Jay-Z's a politician. You have lie and embellish the same way you got simplify and dumb down. It's the same shit.
I don't see how y'all see simplify and dumbing down being the same shit.
Because
you know what it is?
The only example you can give for simplify is Jay. There's no other examples you can give me but Jay.
And that's my point. That's what I'm saying. It's not a bias towards Jay.
No.
That's what I'm saying.
He's the only MC
he's the one nigga that can do that.
He's the only person in hip hop history that can say.
Hey, come on now. I haven't done research. I don't have a book.
No. Hold on.
I'm going on the top of the head, and that's one thing I give Jay credit for. He keeps. He's a simple, and it's to the point. It's colorful, it's vivid. The wordplay is sick, and he got a terrible voice, but he still overcomes that shit. And it's the illest. Yo, I'm sorry. That nigga is the Michael Jordan of this shit, man. I'm sorry. We can go on for hours about that's what it is to me. Pharoahe is a dope MC, but Jay is the nicest lyricist the game has ever seen. And I'm a Rakim fan to the death.
Oh.
So I think, well, hold tight.
Absolutely positive.
Hold tight.
I'll pull out.
I think.
Hey, this ain't
better than G-Rap then.
This ain't Joe Buttons.
Better than G-Rap then.
Files on this nigga, right? I could pull out files for Jay like that.
What you saying is he's better than G-Rap.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes. Rakim is always been better than G-Rap to me. So if I'm saying he's better than Rakim, then yeah, he's better than G-Rap. He's better than Pooh Bah. I would take Pooh Bah over Pharoahe in a heartbeat. Heartbeat, man.
Wow.
You wanted
controversy today.
And again, I love Pharoahe. I love Pharoahe Monch. Love that nigga. Nigga's ridiculously nice. Don't get me wrong, man. And that's the one thing I hate about this type of shit. It's like, if somebody doesn't know no better, they're gonna think I don't fuck with Pharoahe. And again, if you know me like that,
I think you're making.
I got more love for Pharoahe than I do for Jay.
I think you're making valid points. I think it's just one of those things that I've learned to be married 13 years. People have different definitions for the same word. So I think where me and Ev are stuck at is we just don't understand what simplified means, which is why we said, well, could you give us another example? And when you're like, I can't, it's like, so I don't get it. Like, could you at least give me another example of a Jay-Z verse I may know? Since I didn't hear that Rock Live Familiar.
I mean, if you ain't heard that, I don't know what you. I don't know what you might have heard or might not.
I mean, Reasonable Doubt. Like, I mean, if that nigga.
I mean, just Friend of Foe, for example. Just Friend of Foe.
Okay, so what was simplified in that lyric? In that verse.
The way he described when he's talking to the nigga, and I'm not even going to quote the verse, and I don't have to because, again, I can tell you, and this is the difference, I can tell you exactly what he was saying without quoting the verse. He's talking about these niggas hustling in his hood, or whatever, and he got these niggas in a hotel. Oh, no, nigga, put that shit down. Don't, you making my trigger finger itchy. He's keeping, that's a story, right? That's a vivid story laid out. It's simplified, but it's on some depth.
But stop right there. What made it simplified?
Because he's rhyming to you as though he's talking to. It's like in a movie with the terminology, the VOD. When you're viewing, I forget what it's broken down to, but VOD is like when the camera is. It says I'm walking with the camera, so you're seeing what I'm seeing. Jay is rhyming that verse like we're in the room.
He's rhyming from the point of view perspective.
Right.
Okay.
He's rhyming to us to make us. He's bringing us into that hotel room. And again, I don't even have to quote the lyrics word for word. But so the Pharoahe, you have to go into, you listen to the verse, and then you got to start. Okay, he's saying this right here. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that.
No, I understand what you're saying. I get what you're saying, but the point of, so really, it's that Jay-Z. Let's take the word simplified out. You're saying that you're saying the dope thing is that he's rhyming from that point of view. That when you're hearing Jay rhyme, it's like you're seeing it through his eyes.
It paints a perfect picture.
And see, I think that's different. See, that to me means something totally different than simplifying.
But that's simplifying the shit. What else?
Let's stop saying simplifying.
Yeah, I don't think that's simplifying. I think that's, you know,
we stupid. Call us the retards.
I know dumbing it down is in the dictionary, but
no. But that's why I said let's take the word simplified out, because that's what me.
To me, dumbing it down is like the derogatory version of simplifying shit.
No, but that's what I'm saying. So, but well, tell me this. You've got Biggie's Warning. Was that simplified? Because
yes. Yeah, that was some shit. He was keeping it. It was, the lyrics is dope. I mean, for me, it's like, look, when I read something, the type of books I read, I'm not into like fiction novels and shit. That does nothing for me. Nothing. Right. I want to read autobiographies. I want to read about some ancient science from way back. That's what I read. I'm not into fiction books and storytelling shit. But so when it comes to lyrics, when it comes to niggas spitting, if a nigga is talking some shit that you can see that shit. I mean, it's like when Rakim, to compare what Ev said about the line he just quoted from Pharoahe, I guess a close comparison I can come from my favorite MC of all time, my favorite, not the nicest, my favorite, and Rakim, and Follow the Leader, Follow the Leader when he said this shit, planets get small as balls of clay. You know, that whole verse, you know what I'm saying? It's kind of, I look at Pharoahe like I kind of do him, and I look at Jay kind of like how Kane was. Rakim and Kane were two different niggas, but they was both ridiculously nice. Same thing with G-Rap. G-Rap was real gangster. Rakim was guard body. He was intelligent with the lyrics. Kane had a little bit of both. You know what I mean? But he was on that like pimp type of shit. Jay, Big, and Pharoahe. Pharoahe was more like how Rakim was, where he gets more with the intelligent shit, and Jay is more like a combination of all of them niggas, where he can talk some gangster shit like G-Rap, but he can say some next shit where it's just straight to the point. You don't gotta fucking pretend, act like you don't know. You can understand that shit clearly. I don't care what part of the country you're from, because I guarantee you, there's some niggas from, I don't want to diss no parts of the country, but you know there's some cats that can't relate to Pharoahe because they just can't see what he's saying.
I understand what you're saying. So really, there aren't, because you just said that Big's Warning was in a way simple.
It's like you said, the first person point of view. Like,
right, point of view.
You in there with him and shit, right next to him, or even like you the nigga seeing this and he's telling you the shit, you living it out type shit.
All right, so tell me this. Then why does Jay, and this, I'm just asking, why does Jay get the vote over Big for you? Because what you're saying is they both gave you the simplified or the point of view version. So why does Jay get the vote over Big? I'm just asking.
No, I know, and I'll tell you straight up. It's like I always say, to me, saying Big is the nicest MC is like saying Bo Jackson was the greatest running back. I mean, it's unfortunate, it's fucked up, but yo, it has to count for something that Big we never got to see the growth of him as an artist because he was going too soon. It's unfortunate, but there's just not enough material to say that if he'd have been around for the past, 10, 12, 15 years, I mean, who knows where Big would have taken it. I will say this. I think all things being equal, if Big had lived all this time, I do think he would have far exceeded all he's doing. I think he would have been the dopest MC ever. I do.
So tell me this.
But it's just not enough material there, man.
Big in his prime and Jay in his prime, who's better? And the only reason why I'm asking that is because a lot of times, like when people who grade MCs the way I do, when I'm looking at your whole discography, I know you don't do that, but they'd be like, Jay's discography has so many holes in it. Like Jay's discography is like a roller coaster.
But because it's so much.
He's up, he's down. Well,
it's so much though.
It's not just that it's so much. It's because he's dumbed down his style. He's done different things.
That goes back to what we saying before we came on the show, and I'm like, you got to understand also their agendas. Jay, that's why it's like reasonable doubt. He had his agenda. He was coming out of the hood, hustling to come up in the game and all this and that. So that was when he was spitting his most venomous type shit, where he was coming for niggas' necks. Then it didn't get to a certain point when I guess he started realizing, yo, I can take over this shit. So he started going after Prodigy's neck, Nas's neck. And I always say, I don't care what anybody says. Going off of Jay's history, if Big had lived, I think it was only a matter of time before they would have had to go at it. Jay being the type of MC, the type of individual he is lyrically and as an artist, I don't think there's any question in my mind that Jay would have eventually, even if he didn't want to, he would have had to bring it to Big, and then we would have known who was the illest MC.
But so back to my question: Big and Jay, at their point, who is the best?
Tough, man. I don't know. I mean, I know it's a cop out, but.
well, tell me this. Just tell me this. We could do it. This could be easy. On Brooklyn's Finest, off Reasonable Doubt, who had the better verse, Big or Jay?
I don't know, man, because I mean that song for me, I never looked at that song as like even one of them niggas really spitting some crazy shit, other than when Big said Tupac, where it's like, oh, okay, I get it. You know, and he had to say like, get it, Tupac. I mean, yeah, all right, that's funny. It was more funny, but it's hard to use that one because I never looked at that song and listened to it like them niggas is spitting some hill shit. I just love the fact that Brooklyn's Finest with the Ohio Players track that I always love, and the whole shit about it is what did it for me. So how
about I Love the Dough?
I Love the Dough.
Off of Life After Death.
I never really fucked with that song either. Like I never fucked with that song like that.
And the reason why I say that is because I was reading
one of them was saying on that.
I was reading this XXL article a while ago, and I think it was Clark Kent or somebody was saying that they were both going at each other on that song. Like both of them were trying to prove like.
Which one? Brooklyn's Finest.
Brooklyn's Finest. Okay. Because it was like, yo, Clark was like, I got this dude Jay, and
they must not have took the gloves off because I never listened to that song and thought either one of them was bringing their best shit. I always felt like, if anything, it's crazy that you say that because listening to it all these years, I always felt like they would, you know, they weren't going too hard because of how much respect they had for one another. You know what I mean? That's how I always listened to it and thought like that. But the two songs we just discussed, if you was to take Warning and Friend or Foe and compare just them two, I probably would give it to Big if for no other reason. I think what would take it over the top is the flow at times. Like how he comes into the shit, oh, but then you know what? I'm going to do a kill. I got to renege on it.
He got to renege.
I got to renege. Here's why. Here's why. If you recall, when we were doing the MC show, I was saying how my man was telling me how, I forget who it was. It wasn't him, but one of his peoples was in the studio when he recorded Warning. And when Big stepped out the booth, that nigga Big allegedly said, I just buckshot shorty that shit. So that flow, who the fuck is this paging me at 5:66 in the morning, crack the dawn, and that's straight up buckshot shorty.
All right, well, let me ask you this then. Let me ask you this because you watch hoops. So recently Jordan said the only person who I think could probably give me any work was Kobe because he stole all my moves. Now, when people talk about that, people have said, well, that's what great players do. And Kobe actually tweeted out like on some old, yeah, I feel you, Mike. That's what they do to me, and he put hashtag the cycle. Like that's just what happens. That's what great people do. You build off of other people's style. So I don't know if Big was biting buckshot flow. You know what I mean? Versus then who isn't? I mean, Ev, as an MC, haven't you been influenced by other MCs? Not saying you're biting their style.
But is it MCs from your same era, from your same that you know what I mean? It's like at least if you say that about Kobe and Mike, I mean, Kobe came in at the tail end of Mike's career type shit.
But Mike is telling you,
Mike came in right when
Mike is saying in our prime, he right now work because he stole all my moves.
I think even at this point right now, you get influenced by people that's in your same circle. I mean, whose music is out at the same time as yours. I mean, that's the reason why all the music right now sounds the same.
And I mean,
that's not a good thing nowadays.
But even before it sounded the same, look at it like this. You had a lot of times, you had Tribe and Main Source used to use a lot of the same samples at the same time. You know, and I kind of put that too. They was all hanging together at the same time. You know, so Friendly Game of Baseball is.
But see, that's the thing though with the MC shit. You know, it's like we all know that like G-Rap and Kane were in Juice Crew together, but G-Rap ran with Paul C, who was Eric B, and ran with Rakim, which is how. And Lost Professor ran with Paul C, and that's how Nas came up out of, you know, he was coming in the session sitting down with Rakim and Cool G-Rap. So Nas came up under G-Rap and Rakim. Now, did he adapt and take their flow? No, if anything, his content, like the illness, to me is what he got from it. Jay came up with Kane. I mean, I seen Kane back in like 90s, like 91, 92 in North Carolina, and he was like, yo, I'm about to take a break and bring up my man about to be the next illest MC from Brooklyn, and it was Jay-Z. And that's the first time I'd ever heard of Jay-Z was at this show with Kane. And it's like, they came out of the same crew, but you wouldn't listen to Jay and say that Jay stole Kane's, whole thing or whatever. You know what I'm saying?
Some people say Jay sounded like a broke DOS when he first came out, rapping all fast.
Well, yeah, he was on that.
Right, but that was what was in at the time. So he was basically biting another person's style that was dope at the time, right?
Until he simplified.
So he got rid of that, boy. He trimmed the fat. Yeah.
But what I'm saying is, I'm just giving an example of that's what you did. You came out rapping to some extent.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, I'm not saying it doesn't happen, but my point is,
let's say this because, like you said, it was alleged.
It wasn't like Buckshot had been out for dumb years. But it was out.
But DOS hadn't been out when that Can I Get Open? Can I Get Open was like 92, 93. DOS was out. DOS was still doing albums.
Yeah. It wasn't the DOS that we,
DOS, early 90s DOS.
No, I'm talking about
not that serious. Straight Suicide was 93.
I'm talking about Jay. Jay wasn't, it's hard to explain, man.
Well, let's say this. Without the allegedness of what Big said leaving the booth, Warren versus Friend or Foe.
I'm gonna have to listen to it and get back to you on that. I gotta listen to the both of them. I don't want to say off the top of my head because they're both of them incredible songs, man. And both of them exemplify my point about why I think that them two, because I definitely think Biggie is better than Pharoahe. You know what I'm saying? And it's why like those two songs kind of epitomize. Those two songs epitomize why them niggas are ill MCs to me.
You know one thing I love about this show and talking with y'all is y'all make me start thinking at things in a whole nother level, and I think that's what kind of makes it hard for me because it's hard for me to see an MC as just straight lyrics. You know what I mean? And Ev, I don't know if that's easier for you because you're an MC, or Beezo, I don't know how you're able to do it, but it's kind of hard for me to always just look at somebody as a straight MC but not look at like their body of work. Like to be able to look at Nas and just say, well, listen to what Nas spits. Don't listen to his choice of beats because maybe some of those Nas albums where the beats were whack may have had some of the most incredible Nas lyrics on it. But for me, it's hard for me to kind of separate the two. It's almost like this marriage dude was talking about when people put their money in the same account. And he gave the example of you make half and half, and you pour half the iced tea in and half the lemonade in, and once it's the half and half, you can't go back in and get your lemonade out. It's all mixed in. It's hard for me to separate the two. So a Nas album like that Nigga album, I didn't mess with the beats on it, so I couldn't even get past the beats to hear the lyrics. There may be some incredible lyrics on that album, but I would never know. So how are y'all, and can y'all do that? Can y'all you listen to a whack, the beats are whack, because Nas has had a couple of albums where the production hasn't been good. Are y'all able to listen to those albums and literally take away the beats, like literally go back into that half and half and get your lemonade out and just focus on what he's saying? And how do y'all do that, Ev?
No, I mean, for me, to be honest with you, I mean, the beat and how you work inside of that beat plays a big part. I mean, that's going to be, that to me, the beat is the blueprint. So that's going to be the thing that's going to initially grab my ear, and then everything that you do around that. Because to me, like, it's not you got this beat and then you got this MC. No, you got drums, you got bass, you got this other, you got something else, and you got this MC, and all that shit works together. So it has to all kind of, you know, very, very much work, you know, congruently with each other. But my thing is, on some of them Nas albums, you know, I'll get just a couple Nas albums I have right in my iTunes, but I don't have the whole album. I'll have the tracks that are banging. I'll pull out the banging joints and I'll leave those in there, and the other stuff that, you know, if the beats wasn't hot like that, nah, I'll take it out. But if I'm looking at, if I'm thinking about, if I'm comparing MCs, when I compare MCs, I don't bring nothing else into the picture. I don't think about their longevity. I don't think about what they've done or how they do it. I think about like, if, you know, because to me, honestly, if you look at Nas's prime compared to Jay-Z's prime compared to Biggie's prime, I'm going to say Nas. Because to me, Nas just was a better lyricist. But that's what I look for. I look at how this cat spit this and how he did wordplay here, and there. You know, because to me, that's the stuff, for me personally, for me to be able to go back and listen to it again, and then go back and listen to it again, that says a lot. If I listen to it one time and I got it and I get it, and it's like, okay, yeah, that was hot, I got it, I get it, there's nothing for me to go back and listen to. To me, like, that takes away a little bit of credibility, because I'm going to go back and listen to this other cat that I can kind of, I can get another meal off of. I can get another 2 or 3 meals off.
Now let me ask you this. So is there a difference in between being an MC and being a lyricist?
To me personally, no. There's a difference between, for me personally, an MC and a lyricist. To me, it's the same thing. I don't have anything to give you any type of difference between the two. If you're talking about a rapper, because to me, every MC should be a lyricist.
Okay.
That's me personally.
I think
about a rapper and an MC.
I think there's 3. There's the rapper, which is what a lot of these dudes are nowadays. There's MCs, and to me, an example of that would be like Q-Tip. Q-Tip to me is an MC, man. An MC is like an artist. Now, an MC,
no, I feel you.
You know what I'm saying? But like, I do see like a Nas, Pharoahe, Jay.
Right.
They're lyricists. To me now, here's the thing though. A lyricist is always going to be an MC to me, and how I see it. An MC isn't always necessarily a lyricist.
I feel you.
A rapper is a rapper. He's not an MC or lyricist. He's just a rapper. He makes Cat in the Hat 1, 2. He makes that shit. He takes 5 words and makes them rhyme, and and that's it. But a lyricist, it's like, damn, this cat is spitting some shit. And like I said before, it's 3 criteria I look at with MCs, man. And I'll tell you a little secret. My first endeavor into hip hop like this wasn't producing. I mean, way back when I was 17, I used to rhyme. I used to be an MC. You know what I mean? I used to have a composition notebook, spitting lyrics, and I had to catch myself because I found myself at times in my flow writing like Kane, and I'm like, damn, that pissed me off because I wasn't a fan of. I mean, I rocked with Kane, but I was the Rakim G-Rap nigga. So I would go back in and purposely write some shit. Like if I was battling Kane, like, nah, I don't want to sound nothing like the nigga. I'm gonna come for that nigga with this verse right here, and that's how I started writing. So,
all right, so tell me this, because I'm trying to learn from y'all. So I'm gonna name a MC because when you I'm gonna name a rap, I'm gonna name a person, and you tell me if they're a lyricist, an MC, or a rapper. Because I would think Q-Tip was a lyricist. I thought, I would think Q-Tip would be a lyricist. Now, again, I know we all got different definitions and all that, but so Cool G-Rap. What is G-Rap?
Lyricist.
Beezo?
Lyricist.
All right. What's Lauryn Hill?
Lyricist. Definitely.
Yeah, Lauryn can spit.
Yeah.
Okay, so then tell me this. Nah, let me keep going. So Lauren's a lyricist.
You know who's an MC? Is a cat like one of these cats from like the Alcoholics, so one of the Beat Nuts. The nigga, they're MCs. They know how. You know what perfect example kills? Like the discussion he was having on Facebook a couple weeks back, where somebody said something about 2 Chainz and brought up Greg Nice. And my point that I brought up, that I said about Greg Nice was, yeah, Greg Nice had 1, 2 Cat in the Hat lyrics, like if you want to equivalent him to like a 2 Chainz type of niggas, but he had one of the most essential criteria to me of being an MC. He had an ill flow. That nigga Greg Nice, he might have had some basic bullshit sounding lyrics, but he knew how to spit and way he would ride over a track. That's an MC.
Master ceremony.
Exactly. Master ceremony. Exactly.
Okay, now say that about.
All the dudes just rapping, man.
Now say that about
that
Greg
nigga has
Nice.
no flow.
What would Smooth be?
MC.
He's an MC. He wasn't a very good.
Yeah, he wasn't the best MC, but he was an MC.
He was an MC.
Right, nice.
I know what you about to say. You about to ask about Fife.
No, I wasn't. No, now tell me this. All right.
You about to bring up Fife.
In the actuality, I would. What is Fife?
I say Fife an MC, man.
Yeah, he's an MC.
He's an
Fife
MC.
is an MC.
He's an MC.
Now, this is where
So
I'm
is
starting.
Dave from
What makes Lauryn a lyricist? Now, well, let me say this. Q-Tip.
MC.
He's an MC.
So what makes Q-Tip different than Lauryn?
Well, it's the thing for me personally. It's the way if you look at. All right, so they both are MCs because they have style of what they do. Q-Tip has style, Lauryn has
They
style.
epitomize hip hop.
Yeah.
What they.
But what pushes Lauryn up is if you start to listen. That's when you really get into the lyrics. When you listen to the lyrics,
you live in that shit.
Put her words together.
Yeah.
Her wordplay. Q-Tip is not going to give you that.
Nah.
He's going to give you. He's going to give you that. He's going to get that shit to make it like this. And that's it. You're not going to sit and really. It's not cerebral. You're not going to sit and really think about it too hard. But for Lauryn, she gonna say something. God, what did she say? Leviticus got hits. What is that? Something major.
Yeah,
some shit she said. Like, oh my God. Yo, that's
lyrics you live. Yeah. Lyrics you got. You live that shit. You get into it, but like, and again, one thing, if anybody watching this, please, 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 don't get it twisted. Nobody disrespecting Q-Tip. I love Q-Tip as an artist. He's one of the most important artists in the history of hip hop, no question. But we talking about niggas that spit, that lyrics, man. Yeah. And I mean, it's one of them things, Kill. It's hard to quantify, man. It's going to be a lot of opinion based on it, but I think what F said is
doing good right now because y'all both 3 for 3. I thought I was going to get y'all to go at each other again, but y'all still 3-3. So, and that's why I said I'm just asking because, you know, again, I kind of always just looked at it like I almost felt like it was unfair. Like there was a point in hip hop where it's like almost maybe everybody was an MC. You know, Run was out, D was out, you know, Houdini was out, Jalil was out. Everything was just cool. And then all of a sudden, hip hop became very lyric heavy. And it was almost like people couldn't keep up. Like Houdini weren't going to be able to keep making records because Jalil and them just could not keep up with, you know, Kool G Rap and Big Daddy Kane and Rakim. I just always felt like it was unfair that we pushed, I guess that we pushed the MCs to the side and then hip hop became like 100% lyricists. Because if we kept the MC around, we would have been able to keep a Houdini. We would have been able to keep a Run DMC. We would have been able to keep a Curtis Blow. But it's like hip hop in the 90s.
That's evolution. I mean, I think a lot of that is evolution. I think it was, you know, it's supposed to. I don't think for us we pushed the MCs to the side because we still stuck with Tribe. We still stuck with the Alcoholics. We still stuck with Das Effects. You know what I mean? And you know, I don't think we necessarily push them to the side. But my thing is, if you can have 2 degrees, right? You got they both got masters. Both MCs got their masters. The lyricist goes and get his PhD. He's more qualified. He should get a better job. You know what I mean? He should get paid more, for real.
Yeah, exactly.
Because he went and got his PhD. Whereas this
That's the best way to put it, yo. That's the best way to put it. That nigga got his doctorate in
what did we do to Houdini then? We didn't push them to the side? We didn't say, we don't want to hear that?
I don't think that was necessarily because of that. I think they didn't continue to make great music anymore.
They
wasn't able to keep up with the times. I
don't think it was
but that's what I mean, that the times changed to be all lyricists. It became to be all about...
I don't think it did, though. I don't think it did.
No, I don't think. I mean, because MC, like I said, we still had Tribes, we still had Alcoholics, we still had Das Effects.
But see, I guess that's the thing, and I guess maybe that's where I'm trying to see where y'all coming from.
I think if anything, it went the other way. We got more like now. It's 90-some% rappers,
right?
And just a few MCs, and even a small amount of lyricists.
Right.
And that's the most fucked up part to being for hip hop, because hip hop has always been about, you know, again, I mean, you know, I got to tell y'all, you know, the history of hip hop, but obviously, when the first cast, the Busy Bees and them type dudes, they were literally masters of ceremony. They held the crowd together with the put your hands in the air. What's the zodiac sign? There was no depth. There wasn't no lyrics like that. They were literally, they weren't even MCs. They were masters of the ceremony type shit. But then when you started getting Spoonie G, you know, and shit, Super Rhymes and Kool Mo D and Cold Crush and these type cats that was then putting more content into, like, oh shit, Melly Mel. But them niggas started spitting, making you listen to what they're saying, not so just one. Hey.
So Melly Mel and Kool Mo D were lyricists.
Yeah.
So why did we? What happened to them?
I mean, but nobody is gonna stay around forever.
Yeah. I think Wu-Tang ain't gonna last forever.
Yeah.
But what I mean by that is just saying Wu-Tang won't last forever. But I'm sure if Jizza put an album out tomorrow, you check for it, right?
Oh yeah, I'm gonna check for it. But you saying if Mo D put out an album? Well, the thing is, Mo D stopped putting out albums.
But if Mo D, not even right now, if Mo D put out an album out in '92, wasn't nobody checking for it because it wasn't hard.
Because you know why? Because he stopped putting out albums back in the early 90s.
When he was still relevant.
He was still relevant. That's like, you know, when Fuji's come out right now, everybody that was looking for Fuji's album 10 years ago, not looking for Fuji's album.
I thought you said the Fuji's.
No, Fuji's.
No, but what I mean but I just looked at it like Mo D fell off because he couldn't adapt to the times. And the times was...
See, I don't
LL adapted.
Deeper. Your lyrics had to be iller.
LL adapted, and he didn't necessarily like, he didn't necessarily become an even better MC than what he was.
Right. LL is an MC. I never
considered
LL an ill lyricist. He's an ill MC.
He's an MC. Yes.
He's an MC. He's an artist with this shit.
Didn't, you know, he adapted. He was able to change and keep moving with it. When Mo was like, I'm cool.
There's nothing wrong with that. I mean, you got to get in where you fit in, and that's where you look at a person like Sade. You know what I mean? Sade is incredible. I mean, you could go over her catalog. There's some incredible songs, and You listen to it, everything about it is just incredible. But if you ever buy her band's album and then you listen to, and you take away her, like you listen to her vocalization, she doesn't have the strongest voice.
No, she doesn't.
If you went about the liner notes, like from the liner notes, but if you went about the music books from her songs, it's very simple to play, but it's just dope music. And she understood what her lane was as an artist, and she stayed in that. Same thing with like a James Brown, Isaac Hayes. They couldn't sing. They weren't dope singers. Barry White, they weren't dope singers, but it was the whole package as an artist. You know what I mean? They were
so
R&B
saying is there's no knock on the MC.
No, not at all.
Not at all.
That's what you should ascend to be, at the very least. It's like, Ev, the way Ev put it is the best way you can imagine. These niggas nowadays, these rappers, they're like high school dropouts trying to get into community college and don't even got no money for community college. Taking one class in community college. Can't
even fill the application out.
Exactly. You know what I mean? Whereas Tip and them niggas went to an accredited university. Them niggas went to Duke and North Carolina and got their degree. They got a dope-ass degree they can put on the wall. And you come in the office as the MC office, and you're going to see, oh, okay, this nigga's qualified. He's got his degree in MCing. But then you go into Nas and Jay and Big and these type niggas' offices, and they got their doctorates. They got their PhDs on the wall. You know what I mean? It's just, they're just more accredited in the field of lyrics. But that's, again, it's not to take anything from a Q-Tip. Q-Tip, like I said, man, he's one of the dopest, most important artists in the history of the game. No question in my mind. But lyric for lyric, line for line, I wouldn't even, to me, it's like it would be insulting him to try to compare his lyrics to Jay and Nas and them dudes. He does what he does, and he does it fucking great, man.
And when you think about it, man, if you look at it just in that same explanation, if you look at it, a lyricist is going to study harder than an MC does. They're going to study on their lyrics harder. You're going to, if you were to sit Q-Tip down and Lauryn Hill down, I guarantee you Lauryn Hill put more hours in studying her lyrics. Not to take nothing away from Q-Tip, because Q-Tip was the shit, and his catalog goes deeper into the production side of things as well.
Right.
If you're talking about like about lyrics, I'm sure Lauren's gonna be like, it was more thought into this. Q-Tip is like, I'm singing, I'm mastering
the whole package.
Right.
Like I've said with the flow, nigga, flow was just like, the hop and all that type shit. That shit was just sick, and that's part of what being an MC is. And it's like, I think like Ev just said, he put more thought into that. And the way he rhymed in with the ill voice and all that shit. Yeah. That's just a part of it. He realized, okay, this is who I am, this as an artist. And I'm gonna rock this, and he did it to the nth degree, man.
Now,
I give him all the credit in the world for that.
Do you think that an MC, do you think that Q-Tip understands that I'm an MC and not a lyricist? Like, do you think an MC would be offended by somebody saying you're not a lyricist? Or is it like you said with Sade, getting where you fit in? Like, you should be good.
I mean, yes and no. I mean, I can't say personally how he would, because that's that.
I mean, I'm just saying, not Tip, but just
I don't think he should be.
I definitely don't think he should be, because it's so much others. He has so much other things that he's already.
Think about it. Like Ev just said, Jay and them are not doing no production. Jay's not making his own beats.
Lauryn ain't making beats like that.
Lauryn ain't making beats. Q-Tip was making beats, writing rhymes, setting up the sessions. I mean, if you saw these rhymes alike, that nigga is Tribe Called Quest. I always thought it was the other cats, the DJ doing the beats. Q-Tip is a Tribe Called Quest.
Q-Tip is, I ever heard people say 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon? It's 6 degrees of Q-Tip, because he has influenced so many different
Ev, you know what's ill? When my man said Q-Tip is like, he's like the Bill Walsh of hip hop, man. Where Bill Walsh has all these coaches that have gone on to prominence and won championships, been there, Andy Reid, John Gruden, all these different cats, Mike Shanahan, that worked under him. And Q-Tip is kind of like that. When he influenced Mobb Deep and Have in his production. I mean, man, I can't even name all the people, but Tip has had such a big influence on other, not just on MCs, but on production, on producers, and he's an MC.
Yeah.
I mean, that's hip hop, man. That's fucking hip hop, yo. Word up.
I mean, and another thing too is with MC. I mean, I don't think any MC should feel slighted any kind of way, because there's a certain type of style that it takes, to be an MC.
And some MCs are better.
Some MCs have better styles than lyricists.
Right.
Like, I think Q-Tip's style is better than Nas. Yep. I'm a big Nas fan. I think Nas is a lyricist, but does he have the same type? Does he get that shit like Q-Tip do?
When Tip was on his game,
I got 3 names and we out. Ice Cube, lyricist to MC.
He's an MC. I mean, there was a time I would say he was bordering.
Yeah, he was borderline. He was like
He was almost there, but then he done it there.
America's Most Wanted. Ice Cube's America's Most Wanted.
He was on his way to being a dope lyricist. He was.
But he was an MC. He was
definitely was. He's a dope MC back then.
Andre 3000.
Lyricist.
He's a lyricist. He's a lyricist.
And Black Thought.
Lyricist. Oh, that's too easy.
Right, shit.
Shit.
Look at this.
I've never bought a Roots album, and I'll tell you that. Black Thought is. I put him in my top 10. Black Thought is nice, yo.
You ain't never bought a Roots album, man? What's wrong with you?
Never in my life. I bought singles, but I never bought a whole album. But I mean, that's just how I am, yo. I don't invest in albums like that. I invest in songs. I don't invest in artists. I invest in a song. Give me a dope song, I'm gonna ride that shit to the death. You put a bunch of them on one album, and I'm with you. But I fuck with songs, man. And he got lyric for lyric, line for line. Black Thought is quietly one of the nicest MCs I've heard ever.
Yes,
and that's 100.
Yes, indeed.
Let's keep it 100.
I definitely agree with that.
All right, cool.
Left on.
Yes.
Another dope show about MCs. I had to renege and then renege back and say that, you know, Prodigy is an LMC, just to put it out there. You know, he's like number 15 on my top 20 ever list. Another dope show from Live at the Writer's Bench. Prayerfully, y'all have gotten the definition of an MC to a rapper to a lyricist. Let us know if you agree or disagree. Y'all good at leaving comments, so leave us some comments. Live from the writersbench.com, youtube.com/live from the bench. I'm your man Kill, Evan Beezo. Good looking. Keep it locked.
Peace.
Peace.